All right, so welcome to this third episode of the Blerd Talk Podcast, episode 3
hmm
of Blerd Talk Podcast. So today's topic is going to be it's no question if they are, but the American education system robbing us of black intelligence. Jacque is the
hmm
reoccurring guest. Um, he'll be showing his face shortly, hopefully, maybe.
Yes, like when I get home.
Yeah, so you'll be seeing him shortly. What I notice is in social media provides more knowledge about Black history or Black figures in history. Well, same thing. Anyway, they have more information on TikTok, social media. Granted that you do the research and fact check them, than what our high schools, middle schools, elementary schools teach us, right? And I think that's kind of a shame because I mean, like, Alex, you posted a link in the podcast ideas topic channel. Would you like to tell us about what that's about?
Sure. So to kick us off, the link I posted is the Virginia Department of Education, since half this podcast pretty much resides in Virginia. So I want to talk about what students have to go through entering the ninth grade from 2018, 2019, and beyond that. So pretty recent, pretty current, of just the credit requirement, and then speaking to see how necessary some of these courses are in just your day-to-day activities. So I'm sure you'll provide the link so we can kind of address and look at a couple of these. But just to catch some people up who haven't graduated high school or haven't been to high school in a very long time. So the standard credit courses are as follows. English, you need 4 credit courses. Usually this is, English from freshman year all the way to high school, a credit course each year. Mathematics, you need 3 years of mathematics. So this will be algebra, geometry, data analyst, which I didn't even know you could do like analytics in high school like that. But I guess if your high school offers it, cool. Algebra 2, anything like that that satisfies it. Um, Interestingly enough, here it says an approved computer science course credit earned by students can be considered a mathematic course credit. So that is actually new based on when I went to high school. That like wasn't a thing. So that's pretty good. That's at least some progress there. You need 3 years of laboratory science. So obviously this could be something like, at least in my years of experience, earth science, which was pretty interesting. It's probably one of my favorite sciences now that I kind of think about it in the past. We can do a physics, we can just do general science, chemistry, things like that. History and social sciences, you need 3 years of that or 3 standard credits. Health and physical education, for whatever sort of reason, you only need 2 for that. World language, fine arts, career and technical education, 2 years. Economics and personal finance, you only need 1 year. And then electives, you need 4 years of an elective. And this is just a standard diploma course in high school. Now, the interesting thing is, most of the things that we complain about aren't actually on this list, or they're just kind of neglected. Like economics and personal finance, you apparently only need 1 standard course for that, or 1 standard credit for that, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Like, only 1 year of economics and personal finance to try and create a well rounded student. In addition to this, you also need verified credits. So these are SOL tested courses. So you need to pass 2 SOLs for English, 1 SOL for math, 1 SOL for laboratory science, and 1 for history and social sciences for a total of 5 verified credits. So there's no verified credits for economics or personal finance. You just take the course and whatever you get. There's no verified credits for health and physical education. You have the thing that you'll be needing to take care of for the rest of your life. Nothing in addition for history and social sciences, only 1 for that. But for some reason, English has 2. And so I really kind of don't understand why that's the thing. This whole thing just looks like it needs to be restructured as a whole, at least in my opinion of it. And we don't really prioritize what I think your general American, let alone your general person, would actually need in their life. So I just wanted to use that as a springboard to kind of have the discussions.
So you know what I didn't hear in any of them courses?
Mm-hmm.
African American studies.
My gosh. So that is obviously looped in history and social sciences.
So welcome, Jacque. Welcome to the. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Sorry. I forgot to tidy up the place. It's all right.
Meanwhile, while you was going over that, Alex, Princess Nubia said she did data analyst in high school and she hated it. LOL.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a fun course for many people, but to each their own with it. Yeah, but it's pretty cool. It can be counted as a math though. Like everyone does have to go the same track we went through, which was algebra 1 into geometry, which is stupid. You actually just got algebra 1 to algebra 2, then go into geo. But neither here nor there. So you need to take algebra 1, algebra 2, and geometry, or you could take algebra 1, algebra 2, trig analysis, and be done. But those are pretty much your only options. The issue is after algebra 1, I mean, roll the dice if you'll ever see anything worth using algebra 2 or trig analysis worth, like, in your life. Like, most people in their career choices will not utilize anything you learned in those courses. Yet there's so much time dedicated into doing so much in all of those subject areas. It's just a complete waste of time.
So, Jacque, you mentioned earlier this week when we was in Alex's Discord, you mentioned how you and Kenny had a conversation about this particular topic, and it was very divided. Should I say?
I wouldn't say divided is the word. I think Kenny and I put the blame in slightly different places.
Enlighten us.
But we also agree on most things. So we agree predominantly. Kenny step in at any time if I misrepresent something. But we both agree there's a huge, huge fault on the parents. But after that, to me, I think just the whole system is a joke, especially once you get to the college level. It's just it's embarrassing that they actually have the nerve to have people pay for college. It is such an embarrassment, and just the quality of the education, even their infrastructure most of the time. And then let's not forget what they've been teaching people. It's not just useless things; it's actual poisonous things. Mm-hmm. It's wild that we live in a country where people have the nerve to make you pay dozens of $1,000s a year to get poisoned, to get your mind poisoned.
Oh, see, that's the man, my brother.
It's just, we should just feel embarrassed as a nation that we've allowed this to exist and go on for so long.
What poison are you speaking of, John?
So all kinds. So the first one I would say is just this general, the general victim mindset, and that the world is out to get you. So this is something I reference a lot. It's a lot of my educated friends, mainly the Caucasian ones, will often tell me about all the ways that Black people are oppressed, and I should feel terrible, and I should be angry at this person and angry at that person, and I should hate Elon Musk, and I should this and that, and I should be outraged. And I'm like, you realize that if I listened to you and actually got upset at all that shit, I would die of a heart attack because I would be under so much stress and pressure, And then I just imagine, well, what about the Black kids that do listen to that, And I've met a few, and it's they're living a nightmare. Their mind is wired to just think of themselves as constantly being oppressed and attacked. It's not like people don't come after you. It's not like, there aren't racially motivated bullshit that happens. It's just that it's not a 24/7 thing, and you can't just look at every example across the planet and just put that onto yourself. That doesn't make sense. That's not healthy.
For some reason, a quick deterrent to what you were saying. Alex, the link didn't show up, so I posted it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right. So Alex, not Alex, Kenny. Did you have anything to add to what Jacque was saying? Because I want to hear your side of the argument.
Honestly, when I looked at the topic, I was just like,
"Uh-oh,
the education system is failing everybody. It's just not Black kids. This isn't a Black or white thing. It's like, is this history? Is it not telling them Black history? Yeah, probably not. But you should be looking to your parents for that, not some teacher, because your parents should be able to teach you about Black history since they are Black.
So
kind of who you would go to.
And with that logic, is that saying? Are you saying that like school in general is not unnecessary, but things should be taught more from the parents than the actual teachers themselves?
That things should be taught. Some things should be taught more from your parents.
Oh, okay.
Than from the teachers. Like teachers are there to teach your kids the math, English, the necessities of life, math, English, science, whatever, she'll push you towards a path where you want to go or figure out what you want to do. Yeah, courses and stuff. But when it comes to certain things, certain specific things, like Black history is a specific thing. Yes, it is the American history, which we do have a month for it, which they, even though it's only a month, they do go over
the shortest month, my brother. Don't let them fool you.
Even though it's anyway, they still do teach those things. But from that, the kids should be like, hey, or your parents be like, hey, it's Black History Month. Let me teach you about something about it, and you sit down and have a talk with the kids, talk about it, and X, Y, Z. It's the thing is that when I was talking to Jacque about it, I was like, these parents are so handoff with their kids. Like they literally just like, yeah, I'm sending a kid to school, they should be fine. And it's just like, nah, bro, even if your kid's in school, you still need to be part of their school life. And I brought in an example from Incredibles, when Incredibles 2, when Dash had to do math, and Mr. Incredible was like, I don't know what the hell this stuff is. And he took the time to learn what the math and everything was. That is an actual parent.
Mm-hmm.
A literal actual parent. He took the time to sit there, learn it, and teach his son it. And that was it. Like, I'm like, come on now. If I have a kid or something, I'm like, yo, I'm not good at math. I'm gonna be like, yo, Alex, help me.
Yeah,
so I can figure this out. So I can help my kid. But no, these kids will figure it out. And they just go on. It's like, bro, that's not how it works.
No.
That's not how it works. Some kids just don't have that just figure it out aspect. And but back to the main topic, Black education, was it failing Black kids in Black history? So, to be honest, that is important, but on a side note, it's not. These kids need to actually learn something to help them live in life. A skill, a trade, something. Because they can learn all the Black history they want. But once they step out them doors into that real world, Black history is not going to save their ass or pay them bills.
So, I agree with it's not going to pay bills, but it won't hurt. I don't think as Black people we should be ignorant about our history, right?
I didn't say it. Yeah,
I'm not saying you said that. I'm just saying that's just how I look at it. So, can y'all agree on the fact that in high school, the history classes we had provided misinformation? Don't worry,
To be honest,
I'll wait.
I didn't pay attention enough in history class to remember. I'm gonna say yes because I do remember being like, wait, I know that this is wrong. But again, it's not like I paid enough attention in history class. And to that point, I would also say there's a priority scale.
So there's an interesting thing about history. I put history in the same aspect as the Bible. It's like we don't know.
What's real and what's not.
Some things we don't know some things. So it's just like, I was like, you said what was it? History, Columbus found America or some shit, and then we found out that he didn't. And it's just like, unless we are physically there, all we got is word of mouth. That's literally all we got.
But also, I think history is not as important of a topic as other topics. So, like, think about it like from like the hierarchy of needs, right? It's like, okay, so your highest priority in your education is to actually have a skill that's useful so that you can have a job and actually function around the world, right? And then like later on, like much lower down the totem pole is where I would put history. And history is kind of where you get, it's almost like a luxury in a way, right? It's where you can go and just like round yourself out as a person, maybe become more cultured, be someone who's more interesting to talk to about something other than your job, be maybe aware of like the history between like your people and other people. But I would say like as far as schooling, I think the fact that we're misusing math, that the arts are just a joke, that pretty much anything that would actually be useful in your real life is a complete joke. Um, I would put that above, like fixing that above teaching history, because like history you could learn it from your parents, you could also learn it on your own, right? And I think history is one of those topics where like it's much more forgiving for you to go and try to learn it on your own versus something like a math or physics. Because like you get a few inaccuracies in history wrong, yeah, so does everyone else. Math and physics, you start getting, or even art, you start getting things wrong, you're gonna spiral a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm. I look like you looking something up.
Oh yeah, just posting some things just to piggyback off what he's saying. So what Jacque was referencing earlier, in the pseudo sense, I don't know if he's referencing this one in particular, but there's many different hierarchy of needs. But Maslow's hierarchy of needs is one of the most notable ones, where when you're talking about the totem pole, I mean, just depending on however you want to like scale it off, usually the bottom of the pyramid is where you would always go to if your needs aren't being met. It's like, let's say you had this job that pays $100,000 a year and you love your job and you love going to it, right? But you have difficulty breathing, and every single step you take, you're like, I'm about to die. But your work shift's about to start. Based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, because the need of being able to breathe and sustain life is much higher than working a job, you're going to take care of yourself so that you can breathe, so that you can go to work. The reference point here is saying history isn't so important that it would be one of the bare bone needs of a society. Like, you need to be able to sustain yourself, you need to be able to eat, you need to have shelter, you need to have proper protection, things of that nature. Those should be taught as the core function of any education system, but it's not. And it's not supplemented appropriately by the parents either. So you have all these people who have all these very weird skill trees in different areas of the pyramid with no base at all. It's like someone trying to build the pyramids, but they started in the middle section instead of the bottom. You just look at them and be like,
that's a good analogy. I like that one.
What is this? Like, you can't start building a pyramid from the middle or from the top. You have to start at the bottom. You have to start the foundation. But we don't teach, education-wise, we don't do that. Parent supplementation-wise, we don't do that. Heck, even as you go through life, you don't do that. Like, think about when you turn 18 and 21. Everything that you've done prior to, let's say, 18 or prior to 21, they're like, all right, you're just a kid. The moment you turn 21, they're like, you're an adult. You should know everything. You need to start going to work. You need to start paying bills. It's like,
yep, take up massive loans.
There's no real step process like there is in the sense of building a pyramid, where you're like, all right, cool, we'll level the ground, we'll look at materials. We'll sort, like, there's clear steps that anyone would take when building a pyramid. But there's no clear steps taken in our society for these actions to take place. It just does not happen in the education system.
So one of the things was that, like, I knew kind of school well. When we were in school was a little bit better than what it was now.
Yeah, we lucked out.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I knew school was done when they said, hey, we don't need home ec. I'm like, bro, home ec taught me most things.
Like, we learn how to cook and like function in the household.
Learn how to cook, learn how to clean, learn how to not mix chemicals together to kill yourself, learn where to place cords at, whether they should be above rugs or under rugs. You learned about the house.
When they took that out, and I found out they took that out, I was like, bro, these kids are done, bro.
They're fucked. Go ahead and say it.
I don't want to say it. They're done.
They're boned.
I tell Alice every time. Me, my coworkers, my older coworkers, my coworkers like 35, 36, some are 50 and something. And I'm like, yo, cooking is dying with this generation. That's it. Mm-hmm. Me, I'm the last generation of cooking, bro. These kids do not know how to cook.
Wait, so you know how to cook?
Dog, I wanted to be a chef when I was a kid. I wanted to be a chef when I was a kid. I was cooking, bro.
That sounds familiar. Okay, I remember that.
I was cooking. I still be cooking. Just when my wife was sick, I was in that kitchen. I was cooking. I was like, with the blade of the wrist.
Wow, son.
But it's these kids don't know how to cook. They don't know head from ass, and it's bad. They don't know how to do taxes. You hit them with a tax. What's a tax, bro? What, bro? I learned about that in marketing. I was in the same class with Alex, marketing, talking about how we gonna sell sugar, bro.
Wait,
Me
what?
and Alex had the most ridiculous marketing scheme for sugar. Bro, I was like, this is. I forgot what I said. I said we got this from some grains. We got the cooked cane and actually ground it up ourselves. He was like, I can make a cake. I can make all that, and it'll be healthy. Yeah. And then that's like it was healthy. And I remember our teacher, bless her soul, her Twinkie eating ass.
Oh my god.
I had an argument with her because she had told the class.
Twinkies never expire.
She told the class that Twinkies never expire. And then that day I was like, that's it.
Oh.
That's it, bro.
She said Twinkies never expire. I was like, yo, if she's still alive, bless her soul. But I think she
Why
did.
would you know such an obscure fact about such an obscure item?
But back, like what I was saying, the education system, man. Like when they took out home ec, I looked at the thing that Alex just literally posted. I looked at that shit, and I was just looking at him like, bro, you can't be serious. I was like, bro, they don't have to take gym.
I heard about that. I've heard it. I think that's a fairly recent thing, right?
2 years. Health and physical education is 2 years.
They
That's
don't
all.
have to take gym.
So you can get that freshman, sophomore year, sophomore, junior year, junior, senior year.
It's like an option, isn't it? Like,
four.
No,
you can
it's
either-
a standard credit. You gotta have it. It's 2 years.
I mean, it's the society we live in. Fitness is optional.
Yeah, like now zero, right?
Well, no, it's 2. According to for us here, it's 2 years. Right here, standard credits. Health and physical education, 2.
But
that's verified credits. Those are like your SOL testings and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like no, like that's why I'm like, yo, they need to make that 4. Like these kids are just they are just not making it, bro.
Man, I don't know why it's only 2, and I don't know why economics and personal finance is like 1.
Like, to be honest, I would switch that whole thing around. Like math, I understand math. Everybody, math needs to be 3. You only need to get to algebra 2.
Bro, I would make math 2.
You only need to
2
get to
years.
algebra 2.
well, all I need is basic.
2 years is gracious at that too, but I'm just saying 2 gives everyone a great start if you want to pursue more, and if you don't, you at least know what's out there, and that's it.
And the thing is, you do not need geometry, bro. You do not need geometry.
I think geometry can be useful.
It can be, yes.
Even to the basic person, it can be useful.
I understand. But
bro, if you do shit around the house, geometry is pretty useful.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like eventually someone's gonna do stuff around the house and understanding like circumferences, areas, things like that. Even though algebra goes into that. Yeah.
I understand the whole aspect of what geometry is and everything. Mm-hmm. I understand. I couldn't stand geometry. Yeah. But like algebra 1, algebra 2, most people just like my boy Purcell said, he was like, all I need to know how to do is how to add my money and subtract it.
No, that's facts though.
That
gotta be.
So we're doing an experiment then, right?
That gotta be the realest shit I ever heard.
Let's go from the top of the list and bottom, and we'll say how we want to structure it, right? So like English. Currently, you need 4 years of English.
Bro,
what would you change that to?
These monkey kids, they can't even speak.
I'd keep it the same.
What do you mean?
So my favorite, and we'll even ask chat too. So chat, whoever is here as well. 4 years English, 3 years English, 2 years, 1 year, no years. What do you think?
I
Can
think
you say 4.
They need 4, but these motherfuckers don't even use.
But see, no. But I'm saying, listen.
Don't,
why you looking dead at me? No, he's looking like dead at me. I felt him looking to my soul. Like, okay, so 4 years, right, is mandatory, personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nubia says 2 years.
So there was 4 years, right?
Yeah,
but I don't even speak proper English myself, even with them 4 years. So what is that 4 years gonna do? What is that 4 years going to do, really?
If you didn't get 4, though.
Dog, you know how I learned? Probably how I'm talking now is from the people around me and probably the internet.
You learn you're a product of your environment. At the end of the day, you're a product of your environment. You can go learn English, do this, learn a lot of things. Depending on how and how far you take it, how much and how far you take it, depends on how much you're going to use it. So if you're like, you took 4 years, you're just like, man, I'm taking 4 years of English. Fuck these 4 years of English. And you're just over there just.
So, do you think African American history should be a subject to teach just that on its own, or no? Because because you're saying, I know you and Jacque were saying the parents should teach that, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Alex?
What, for African American history?
Yeah, so that's a college course, isn't it?
Yeah, you can take that as an elective. Specific time periods you can always take.
So, do you think that should apply to high school?
I think all history.
No, man, it's just American history. You just need to know the baseline. If you want to dive deeper in specifics, yeah, that's what college is for. That's what the specialization process is for. The purpose of high school is just to get everyone at least on the same page. Like, this is the blank state candidate for us to either put in the workforce or make something better of. Like, these are all the generic skills you need. Like, think of it like in a D&D stat sheet, right? These are the baseline of each character. Like, you need to have at least, 3 intelligence to be considered conscious or intelligent enough. 2. You need at least 7.
What, that's 7? 10?
There's a base, regardless.
17, 12?
12. Before you're like pretty much retarded and like you can't make your own.
Average is 10.
No. I know the average. I'm saying like when you get to a point where you can't even control your own character because he's not considered.
You need at least 12 or higher, bro.
I'm about to actually.
I think you need 12 or higher.
But regardless, you need a baseline.
You damn near retarded.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like you're just dumb. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like you need to get everyone to at least baseline stats of things before they can actually like exceed in anything or excel in anything. So as far as that's concerned, no, that's just American history. All of that is looped together as one. So just have an American history class like we have now.
So thankfully, as far as social media is concerned, as I stated in the beginning of the podcast, that social media teaches or bring out more facts and knowledge of Black history than high school. I never took that course. I never took African American studies. There wasn't an ECPI because all they cared about is like what criminal justice and cybersecurity or whatever. So they never taught that course. They never took that. They never taught that course in ECPI. So I never had to. Wow.
I had to search this D&D. So spell texting and suggestion for sentience is 3 in D&D. So if you have less than 3 intelligence, at that point you're like a creature. You're just you're not human intelligence. So, yeah.
Sounds accurate.
Mm-hmm.
That's even the fact that Kenny taught it was 12 is still very accurate.
Well, no. Well, like, in his case, he was thinking like baseline roll stats. Yeah, it's like the lowest you can do normally, I think, is 10, generally speaking.
No, you can go.
I think you can dive into the negative. 5. Who's letting you go to 5?
You can go.
Some teams just all right, man. Y'all wow. You let someone maximum. Yeah, dumbass barbarians out here. But anyway.
No, that's.
Oh my god.
So anyway, as far as like the main populace is concerned, we don't want dumbass barbarians walking around, which is why we need
like Neanderthals.
Yes, like dragging their knuckles on the ground. Yes, like no, that's what I'm talking about. We don't want no more of them. All right.
They say enemy, me fight enemy,
and then bumps chest.
To be honest, like
oh my god.
Back to the topic. Like I think once there's such a small there's so limiting things on Black history. Like you can go deep dive into it, or you can just learn the bare bones of what it is, what happened in history, and X, Y, Z, and just keep moving forward. So. For some people, they're like, "Oh, I need to go down deep. I need to learn about my ancestor or history or something like that." And I'm just like, "Okay, I got you. That's cool." But in most aspects, it's like it should just be all lumped together in history. Like just like as you're going through history, hey, this is now we're going to the black part of the history, and then just keep moving forward after do that.
Well, I think that's probably, I don't want to say it's a problem, but they don't lump Black history with American history in school. They don't add it. And it's just strange on its own that when you get to college, that's a separate elective.
Yep.
I think that's the problem that I'm having. You know what I'm saying? Well, not necessarily a problem, but that's the issue that I see is like, why is that? Because we have stated in many podcasts, and Alex has stated many a times, Black history is American history.
It is.
Yeah. I think another huge issue you discuss is how the history is portrayed.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
It's never really portrayed in how bad this shit really was until you get older, and then you're like, wait, hold up.
You become woke.
To do what?
Like,
I wouldn't even say they became woke. It's just when you actually learn the conditions people went through, if you haven't seen it in your life yet, like you haven't gone to some of these poverty-stricken countries and seen it, and then realized it was worse than that in the past. And you're like, dang, they went through this for how long?
Yeah.
Like, what? So, like, that's, like, the other thing, because, like, the books just cherry-coded. Like, I think there's an image circulating through social media. I haven't, like, fact-checked or whatever, but it was, like, it described the Trail of Tears. And they described it as just, like, yeah, they just round up all the Indians. They walk peacefully all the way to this other location.
And that's...
I'm like...
And that's the thing. That's why I've been thinking for years now. It's like they gloss over the most horrific, dehumanizing facts about history, or the facts that's pertaining to Black people.
I think the reason is they just try to make it palatable.
Man, because when you get to the Holocaust, they be like, people were like dying, they were getting gas. He went and invaded these countries. Look at all these images. We'll go to the Holocaust Museum. They do none of that shit for Black history.
No,
they do not a single thing for Black. They're just like, there were slaves. Here's the triangular slave trade. All right, moving on. They trade the sugar through here, slaves through here, and then resources through here. Then the Holocaust, they were like, yeah, man, this dude was gassing people. Then there's all this international crisis. Then he invaded this area. And look at these pictures of horrible people. Listen to this entire Anne Frank thing. Here's a movie about it. I was like,
yeah, and that's
what they were thinking. But,
no, that's what they taught.
No, I know. So I was like, that's what they were thinking, like with
and that's what.
Yeah, they go hard on the Holocaust, bro. Like, teach them what.
And that's what the issue is. That's why I say they are robbing us of Black intelligence, because they gloss over Black history, American history,
I didn't say Black history. I just said they just rob us of Black history. I wouldn't say Black intelligence.
But at the same time, now, this is the information age, right? We have Google at our fingertips. Everybody has Google at their fingertips. There's no reason why we individually cannot look up something. These kids, these teenagers, people in high school, they got their phones on them 24/7. If they wanted to learn, they can learn. So, and at this time, now 2022, we can look it up ourselves. Now, back when we was in school, Google, at least not, I wasn't aware of Google. I wasn't aware of search engines. I wasn't aware of.
Bing, got that GoDaddy. Got that Jeeves.
But we can't go back in our time, unfortunately. We just gotta make whatever we gotta do.
Yeah. I still want to continue my prior train of thought whenever you're done, Dante.
Yeah, so I've learned that I've learned more from TikTok. Granted, I did the fact check. Mm-hmm. I'll learn something. I'll see something on TikTok. Or I'll see something on Instagram or whatever, and I'm like, huh, really? I'll go look it up. Oh, this is actually happened. This is what happened. This is actually a thing. And I'm like, well, damn, I didn't even know that. And this is like, I'm midway through my 20s. And I'm just now learning.
You still learn?
I'm saying that I'm in my 20s now, but I'm not. Anyway, so I just realized that.
Obviously, you ain't, because you old.
Wow.
Ain't no wow, that's fact. No wow with fact.
Wow. You just.
God.
Fact check. You old. You older.
I don't like this. We about to end this. No, I'm just playing. But anyway,
You're the granddad of the podcast.
no, but yeah, it's the fact that like even now I'm still learning about certain things, and that's okay. This is a learning. Life is a learning experience.
Always learn about things. Yeah, that's the best thing about life.
Yeah, wonderful.
But let's continue what you're going with.
So I just want to finish off the list. So it seems like unanimously we want 4 years of English across the board.
Yeah, 4 years of English, bro.
All
But
right.
I mean, yeah, that's cool. But like,
Listen,
reading
Yo, you need to be able to speak.
yeah, oh yeah, okay. So reading and
So
comprehension.
reading, comprehension, literature works. Like there's so much more than just speaking
in English, bro.
in English. Proper grammar, my goodness. You work. I know where you work at. How much proper grammar do you see utilized? Looking at emails.
Talking about me in particular?
Yeah, you think about
Oh, there is none.
Format.
There was
exactly like we need. If it could be 5 years,
like I've seen. So listen,
give
listen.
him a full 6.
Yeah, I know.
As far as
2
Grammar,
English classes a day. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's more than it has to.
Fuck it.
as far as grammar is concerned,
Mm-hmm.
I would say that is a major issue
It
because
is.
I've seen people at my job has like sent emails, right? They're like, "Hey, look at this email," and I'm looking at it. I'm like, "Where's your commas?" I'm not saying nothing, but I'm like, this whole sentence structure is off, right? And I'm like, this is hard to read. Like, what am I reading? And so, yeah, I agree with that.
All right, let's move on. Math. How many years? Currently, it's 3 with 1 verified credit, but we'll discuss that later. You say 2?
I'll say 2.
2, but you should have the option to go up to 4 if you feel like you need it.
But you always have the option.
Yeah, generally you always have an option,
Yeah.
and even I'd say it's fine even to take that as an elective portion. But actually, no, I take that back because you need to do some other things. Math, I think 2 for the bare minimum. People, I think I'd make algebra a must, algebra 1 a must, and then your second class it can be whatever you want to do. Trig, you want to do geometry. It'd be hard to do trig without geometry, but hey, go for it if you want.
Yeah.
So I mean, I probably would just say geometry or algebra 2, or I don't think algebra 2 is needed like that. I'd probably say just algebra and geometry,
bro.
and then cut that off. That's all.
Yeah.
All right, next up, laboratory sciences.
Bro,
It's
you need
currently
4,
3.
bro.
You think you want 4?
So-
4.
Yeah.
What
So wait,
exactly?
that's like physics, bio,
So it's gonna be
chem.
all sciences in general: biology, physics, chemistry, earth science. All of that is considered science.
That is a hot mess putting that in one topic.
Well, I mean, it's years. So, like for example, when I remember in high school, I took chemistry. I took first earth science. I took chemistry. I took biology, and then I took physics.
Wait, how did
What
you take
exactly
that?
is earth science?
How do I?
So when I was at Blerd, ninth
Mhm.
grade was earth science, right?
Yep.
I remember that distinctly because I was like 9/11. So I remember I was in earth science class
Earth
specifically, right? So I don't remember
That's not
10th
that time ago,
or 11th. Yeah, bruh.
Yeah, what
So-
the hell is earth science?
And
English just write essays. Why a curtain
Earth
is
science
blue.
is just science about the earth.
so I remember that Blerd gave us an option between chemistry and physics. And I was in a different state of mind. I'm not going to dive deep in why I picked chemistry, but I picked chemistry.
Trying to deal drugs.
No, I didn't.
You was trying to deal drugs.
I was not.
I got him one clipping right here. He was trying to, hey, yo, where my FBI rep? I need a raise. Hey, yo, let me do your job.
No, I was not.
Oh,
I just
okay.
wanted. I mean, anyway. So, I think we had to choose between chemistry and physics. I believe I picked one or the other. So I don't. So I would say 4 years for earth science, biology, physics, chemistry, and that like not necessarily in that order, but if you were able to teach all, cause I didn't get physics. It was just straight chemistry. I never took physics in high school. So I got robbed. My brothers, they robbed me of my black intelligence by not letting me take physics.
Yeah.
Huh?
I stopped paying attention to when you say "see my brothers."
It'd be like that. I understand.
Glory to Hanuman.
All right, Jacque, how many years would you say for the sciences?
Okay, so I would split them up because I don't know if that's because that's not how it went for me. I had chem and physics at the same time, Granted, they were both AP, and I don't know if AP is on just a different system because, like, I was allowed to do some weird shit with AP classes,
It's
like
a
not
totally
take the
different
class.
weird thing. I generally don't
Okay.
ever recommend AP to people.
I needed it. Trust me.
Yeah.
I was not gonna stick around regular old science or physics.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say 4. I would say like the maximum. Mainly because of this one reason. It's not gonna be super useful in an obvious way throughout most of your life. However, there is something about a general understanding of physics that's going to help you not be an idiot, like
Yeah.
actually walking around the world. Same thing with chemistry. It's like a general understanding of chemistry will allow you to just not be an idiot. It's not like you're going to whip out any formulas anytime soon to, like, I don't know, calculate how much you should drink or not drink or whatever, but you'll have an
Things like
understanding.
that.
Yeah, exactly. But you have an understanding and like a really deep understanding of how these things work. And then same thing for biology. I mean, God, there's all kinds of things I could say about that one. And then I don't know what earth science is because they didn't have that when I went to school, so I can't speak on its value and across the rest of your life. But for those first 3, like I'm pretty confident, like having some exposure to it just lets you function better in the world without like pulling up like a calculation for like the V of something, right?
Gotcha. Yeah. Strangely enough, when I first thought of it, which is now, I was like, 3 years seems enough. But then, like, after giving it more thought, I was still on the same page as you, where it's like, it's more of a preventative measure. It's not something you use proactively. I'd actually bump that to 4 years because it prevents you from doing a lot of things that you could just learn to not do in class, like in a controlled environment. Because the worst thing is, you go do something in an uncontrolled environment, get a very weird result, and you think that result is normal. Like, that's the entire purpose of just the scientific method. Is like, let's do this in a very controlled environment. Let's see if this is what actually happens, and let's test for certain variables that change, only changing one specific thing at a time. Like, without having a core understanding of that throughout your years of science, I don't think there's much of a point. So yeah, I'm definitely in favor of 4 years of sciences in general, with probably a must for chemistry and biology, and the next 2 you can take. I'd prefer a lean to physics to a degree. I don't think it's required per se, but I think physics can give you a great understanding. Just things like driving, momentum, just calculating trajectories.
Exactly.
Even if you're not doing it, just looking at someone, or like if you climb a tree, for example, like if you're a construction worker, or any other field like that, moving, like it's very useful in general. Not in the sense
the
that you're
principle of
busting
life.
out the formula. Yeah, I think that's incredibly useful. So yeah, I think as it is now, I'm not mad it's 3 years. I'd rather it be 4.
I'm mad it's 3 years. I actually didn't know it was 3 years. I thought
It's
it was
3
full
years,
4.
and that's for us in the state. Every state obviously has its requirements, but for us here, it's 3 in Virginia. Dante, what did you say?
I'll say 4 years because I wasn't taught physics. Like, I've learned the basics of physics just going through life. Like,
Watching other people mess up.
Yeah, this object, this is the basic physics to me. Like, this bottle, if I throw it,
It's going
to drop. It's going to land. And why? Because of gravity, physics. Like, and that's the basic knowledge I have of it. And it's just,
now, if you want to throw it in a trash can, you got to figure out momentum.
exactly. You got to figure out the trajectory. I got to compensate for the weight of the bottle.
The rotation of the earth, depending on how the mass of the yacht. There's so much that goes into
inertia, the wind push,
incredible.
air drag,
Bro,
the little shape of the fucking bottle.
If I hadn't learned semi science, I wouldn't be as good as a baker as I would now.
Yeah, baking.
Exactly. There we go.
It's
Wait, say that again?
Pockets.
If I didn't, I love science, and the only reason I'm good at science is because I like baking.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I didn't know baking, I'd probably have glass in my hands or some shit.
Yeah, you need a mixture of science and math.
I like sourdough. The base of sourdough, when you make the yeast of sourdough, if you put the saran wrap on the thing too tight, that shit will explode. A glass thing will just explode.
Yeah.
Boom.
Prevention. There you go.
Boom.
Yeah, so him
You know?
understanding that process, you don't have to understand it to a T, but just know it happens. Like, that's the thing.
You
So,
know,
yeah,
and then like biology helps you clean your house better.
Yeah, not to mention any sort of injuries like that you have or injuries other people have. You can at least get a base understanding of what's happening more at the cellular level with biology than without it. Heck, you could probably wrap biology in with teaching like CPR courses or like AED courses, first aid courses. That'd be amazing. Because I think as a people, everyone should know basic first aid. I don't see why that's not a thing. It is for certain states, but
as a kid, you should be forced to take a CPR AED class.
Oh yeah, everyone should. I don't see why that's only specific to like call 911. Like no, like why as a nation we haven't determined everyone should know basic first aid.
Hey, when seconds matter, help is only a few minutes away.
Yeah, so like that's the entire point of a society, so that we feel protected to help each other. But people don't even know how to clean a wound out. Hey, sad. Yeah. Anyway, moving on though.
So would you? What's the next subject? History.
Next subject here on the list here is going to be history and social sciences. So currently it is 3 years with a must in. I know government's in there. Virginia U.S. history for us, obviously in Virginia. Virginia U.S. government. And then either a course in world history, geography, or both.
Honestly, I don't think you need to take 2 to 1, maybe.
I would actually say a 4-year requirement for this.
4 year.
Yeah, and the reason why I'd say 4 years is because a lot of the times we're talking about history in just one specific context of like what happened in the past, but this also includes things like navigating a map, geography around the world.
I put that as as probably something you're just required to take.
Yeah,
like as an AED and CPR.
Oh,
like,
so
I require those things. You just have to take those shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying for history. That's where it would be required. That's like geography, knowing that there's more than 3 countries in the world. More than the United States, knowing that there's more, that there's the amount of continents in the world. Knowing oceans,
you'd be surprised how many people don't know how many continents there are.
Bro, listen, bro. I just learned we got an extra ocean, bro.
Yeah, they made a new ocean.
Wait,
what?
Yeah, so let me see.
What do you mean they made a new ocean?
They separated the ocean. So there's so the Southern Ocean was an ocean when I was learning.
Was it 5 now?
So there's 5. I think based on just my basic Google search, that's 5. So there's the Atlantic, Pacific, Arctic, Indian, and Southern Ocean.
What the hell is the Southern Ocean?
Exactly.
Bro, they separated the ocean.
It's like the whole Pluto's not a planet thing all over again.
Oh, back and forth. Yeah, man. Like, let Pluto be a planet, man. Like, just let it go.
It's like Pluto not a planet, bitch. If you step on that, Jane, are you able to walk on that whole bitch? Like, that's a whole.
So, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's a whole ass planet.
Different debate, my guy.
Yeah, whole separate everything. So, yeah, it's like that's why I'd say 4. Because the thing is, learning how your government works, operates. I would probably put government. I would make the last year because most students are probably turning into voting age. So make a requirement that they go and get their voting card. What was your last one? For me, I think it was my 3rd. It was my 3rd.
Because remember, I went to school. Texas school system is totally different.
All the states are different.
Yeah, I remember that's the only reason why I graduated early. It's because the Texas school system is ahead of ours.
Oh, there you go. But yeah, it's like
we're not going to talk about Orleans Paris education system.
That can be a whole separate podcast. So I'd say government at minimum 1 year, but I mean obviously you need more than a year. But there's just so much to like source. Like geography takes some time to wrap your head around. This is the world, and these are all the different places in the world, and this is also the history of some of those places. So like obviously the history of it wouldn't be in geography, but it could be. Like it'd be an interesting tidbit to say. All right, at this time period, it was Istanbul, not Constantinople. Like, why these places change or like the struggles in the Middle East. Like, there's so much that can go into that. Obviously, U.S. government, because people don't know how their government works. Heck, I'm still even deficient in how government works. And just getting involved in local governments, how important that is. Just Virginia history, like the history of your state, I think is very important. But then overall, United States history. So, like, there's so much to cover in history. I think that needs to be a 4-year requirement. I don't know why it's a 3-year requirement. That's weird to me.
I just think that as far as history is concerned, they shouldn't gloss over certain topics or certain parts of history.
All right,
that's just my.
Protect Pluto.
Yeah, Princess Nubia said Pluto is a planet. Like she's adamant that it's a planet, and you can't tell her different.
She's literally gonna rise out with a flag. Pluto's a planet. Just no one's even fighting over this. Right?
What if she just came upstairs and then kicked your door in?
Kicked my door in.
And said Pluto's a planet, damn it, and then just walked off.
All right, we're done.
All right, what's next?
All right, so next up, health and physical education.
Oh wait, actually wait. So there was something about the history thing though. It's like now my question is like, do we have time to teach like what, especially in like Dante's mind, would be like proper history?
Make time,
right? Because like that's okay. So I'm gonna give you like an analogy, a story here. So I once met this guy who was technically homeless, but he was one of the biggest history buffs I had ever met. Like his whole day would was like reading history, watching history podcasts, like just that was like all he did all the time. He knew everything about the history of everywhere. Right? Wealth of knowledge. Not gonna lie to you, even though I've learned a lot from him, none of what he's ever taught me has been all that useful aside from just kind of impressing people with knowledge. And it's not useful to him because, like, aside from his friend,
he's technically homeless.
He's technically homeless. Yeah, his friend just lets him stay, like, in the house for free in exchange for like cleaning,
for knowledge.
Which, like, and yeah, in entertainment, like it's like because like his friend finds him entertaining. Like he is wonderful to talk to. Like someone who knows that much about history is genuinely wonderful to talk to.
Favorite people to come across in life are history.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're incredible people.
Geniuses, bro.
He had no real employable skill. He was pretty old too, so like he couldn't really do like a lot of jobs, and so the only thing he could do when he kind of lucked out that his friend found him so good as a conversationalist that he was like, you can just live with me for free, just tidy up the place, and like be a host when I have parties and stuff, and entertain people. Essentially, like be
like
yourself,
turn to a
and you
servant.
have this place to.
Yeah,
not really.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I guess
it's just a general servant.
Yeah,
he found a need in society, and that's like everyone's needs to be, let's say, like a fully fledged citizen, right? Like we need all walks of life. Like I always make the comparison for medical field. We don't need everyone to be a doctor. We need every single piece of the totem pole for this system to work. We need people to move bodies. We need people to take bodies. We need people to clean. We need people to do very basic menial tasks. We need people to cook food for other people because there are so many other things to be done, and nothing should be held to that degree above it.
I'm trying to see how high Kenny's hand
goes. He starts flying.
I can tell you probably the most highest paying jobs are literally the handyman jobs. Those shits will pay you a lot. Plumbing, carpenting, electrician. Bro, I was talking to my boy Purcell. He has 3 jobs. He does HVAC, but he was talking on Sunday. He was like, "Yeah, I just did a $14,000 job during the weekend, and it was just him and his boy. He spent that shit. He split it, $7,000 a pop on a weekend."
Yeah, but I mean it's up to us.
On a weekend, Dante.
Yeah, I hear you and I get it, and you're not wrong in what you're saying. But I think the issue, this man gonna keep going with the weekend. But I think that the issue is people don't see that as a fulfilling job.
Listen,
so it's like I know
I wouldn't even say that. It's just not talked about.
It's not.
See, I think it depends on your circle. Growing up, I knew that plumbing, electrician. Like I went to Job Corps. That was the main trades that they had at that school. You know what I did? You know what my retarded ass did? I went for data entry.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? I made that, but I was 18, so I knew I was aware of it, but I did not understand the significance.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's not talked about in that light. Like, it's not given. Remember how I said how we talk about history isn't appropriate to what occurred in history?
Right.
Like, how we talk about things matters. We don't talk about electricians, plumbers, HVAC techs, auto mechanics, anyone who does any of that in positive lights, truck driver. None of them get the praise that they should deserve to keep society moving.
So right. I had to explain the truck driver. Cause my wife didn't know how much truck drivers make, and I was like, it
But
depends.
they make a fair amount.
And they make a fuck ton. It depends. But I told her if I was to go to Kuwait again, and if I wanted to drive a truck, if I go to Kuwait again, I would save up money, buy my own truck, and I would buy my own truck straight out, because that's what usually these truckers get shafted at, is that they loan out a truck. That's when they don't get money. But when you buy your own truck, bro, the yearly income of a person that has their own truck is about $200,000 a year. About.
Yeah.
And I was telling her, I was like, I would just do one job, do the job for $30,000, do that for a month, chill for a month, 2 months, do it again. Like,
yeah, flexibility and adding to society. That's really the main purpose of the education system. But the thing is, we're not teaching the right things for that, which we're not at all, obviously. So that's the entire purpose of, I think, the entire history and social sciencing is like, there's so much that can be packed into that. It doesn't make sense for it to only be 3 years. Like, we need the maximum amount of time for history and sciences because 4 years is all we got. Like, we're not just suddenly going to be like, all right, now we're in 13th grade and keep people in high school until, 19.
Give you a 5th year option.
Yeah. So, like, sure, like, history is a jam-packed, like, area, but, like, you need all the time you can get in that because there's so much to learn. So, I'm not saying you have to learn every fact of the past. It's greater than just being like, oh, the first president was such and such. Like, no, it's more preventative and like laboratory science is like understanding what people did in certain situations so you don't have to go through the same situation. Basic listening, reading, and comprehension of like, oh crap, this country tried to do XYZ and it failed miserably. How about we don't do what that country did because we don't want to fail miserably? Or let's do what that entire country did, but let's change XYZ. Yeah. That's the entire purpose. Like, it's more preventative as well in social settings.
The state's education system is not really good. Actually, it's not well thought out at all.
Do you think it's thought out?
No, I said it's not well.
No. You think it's thought out?
No, it's not at all. But
you fucking threw that shit together.
Yeah, like when I was overseas, my son was like, I would say maybe 10 or 11 years old. I'd say 10 years old maybe. He was already learning Algebra 1. We weren't even gracing that shit when we was at his age range.
I think
people that was still eating glue.
They're dabbling in algebra in middle school now. Like my daughter, when she's still in middle school, she's in 8th grade, like in 6th and 7th, they were like throwing it little bit at a time. They was throwing it at her.
Throw that whole bitch at them.
No, you need like an actual.
Because the thing is that if you teach these kids these things earlier in high school, or high school, whatever, you can teach them how to fucking live. Yeah. Like, that's literally high school should just be like, bro, like, if I had the options, I would make high school that point where it's just like, all right, this is where home ec, plumbing, carpeting, all these other skills and stuff like that, or things, hygiene, like home ec, some things like that, because these kids come out of high school, I'll be like, hey, yo, make us something to eat. I'm just going to order it. Grubhub.
That they can't because they ain't got money. Then they took out a loan. And they don't know nothing about personal finance. So they're age 18 in one day in debt. How do you start out the game?
Like, you can and the thing is, we say it all the time, kids are sponges. But we don't treat them like they fucking sponges.
No, we don't. People just stay doing whatever around the kids.
It's like, oh, kids are sponges. Fuck your cat, John.
Kids are sponges. Turns on the TV and Nicki Minaj doing her thing. Oh, my kid won't be like that. Age 15 twerking. Just, what are you doing?
And so it's like, yo, use the advantage of them being sponges. Teach them the algebra stuff. Like, the thing is, I want my kid to be ahead of this school. I want him to be just ahead. Like, but this school system here, I don't know how it's going to work.
So
just do it yourself.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm going to do myself.
Yeah, do it yourself.
Double click on what Kenny said, though, that's really interesting, because if you got math out of the way in middle school, In high school, you could teach people actual economics.
Yeah,
Yes.
you
Instead
can
of
teach
math.
people because that's what they do overseas most of the time, man.
Yeah.
Those kids,
I don't get why we spend so long on learning like multiplication and division. It's like, bro, that you can learn that within a couple months. Pretty basic. Like,
it's like,
Yeah.
like my boy thought he was like, I'm waiting for his daughter to finish high school before he went back to the States. His daughter finished high school at the age of 14.
yeah, you can comprehend a lot. Especially if it's just basic things. It's not like it needs like social consideration, feelings, anything. Like, no, math is just math.
Math is math.
That's it. Like, there's nothing.
Science is science.
Yeah.
English is English.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you should just get all the cores out of middle
You
school.
know-
That's just not. I mean, it's not how it is now. But just say like that would make high school the perfect canvas board to have fast failing so that you can learn quickly. Because the goal is you need to fail quite often, but your failure can't be over a very long period of time. Like, you need to fail fast so you can learn from those mistakes.
Right.
Make that high school 4 years of people failing.
Man, bro. Carpet, like I said, carpet and carpet. Teach them another language, bro.
Yeah.
Please.
I mean, we're getting into that though. So the next topic here is health and physical education. How many years left should we have?
4.
Or
Your whole life.
All your life.
Your whole life.
All my life I had to fight.
Your whole life.
4
So,
years.
but I mean, okay, so this all sounds fantastic, right? 4 years of this, 4 years of this, your whole life for this. But it's still up to the person to apply it to their lives.
We've only done two things for 4 years though. And yeah, you're right. It's always up to the individual.
You're right,
Yeah.
but the thing is, it gives them to understand. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the thing is like, in PE, we honestly didn't learn what I know now.
I was just trying to live.
Yeah, bro.
Not beat up in the locker room, not die from asphyxiation because of Axe body spray, and not get hit with a red dodgeball.
Wait, what? All right, I'm not even. We'll discuss that offline, but I'm not even gonna get into the Axe body spray. Like, so, but as far as like these topics, I mean these subjects, like, I was in my own world in high school. I was in my own world when I got into my early 20s. Like, y'all know, I would pop up and then I would disappear. I didn't go nowhere physically.
Trade school,
Huh?
come back, disappear.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, this is all we can, let's say the education system like reformed and they had it exactly how we just discussed it, right? But then there's still...
Yeah, there would still be that, but it would still be better.
The goal is to make it better. We're not saying it's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
You're never going to reach perfection, but you always can work towards it. That's the entire point.
So the thing is that at a young age, like I said, we're back in the gym talking. Bro, you need to teach these kids. Like, I understand, like, in the time we go to the gym, play games, and do something like that. No, bro, like, I understand we need to do that stuff, but it teaches these kids about, like, hey, yo, you need to eat something. You need to eat healthy, or you'll fucking get diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and all that stuff. I didn't learn about diabetes until I was like the different variations of diabetes until I was in freaking ECPI college, bro.
Yeah.
How did you learn that in ECPI? Did you learn that in ECPI or just when you so happened to?
Class, and one of the girls had diabetes. She had she had a certain type of diabetes, and so she decided to do a presentation on diabetes and the awareness of for diabetes. Because I remember when you're in presentation class, it's not just IT people. You got IT, health, business.
Yeah. You got criminal justice, technology is the primary focus, but you got criminal justice, business, and I think that's all I remember. But
nursing and
nursing.
Yeah, so like she was I didn't even know that. I was asking her so many questions. I was like, bro, I didn't even know there was so many different areas. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Wow. And that'd be great to put in health and physical education.
Yeah, so it's like stuff like that they need to learn. Like these kids are fat, bro. Roly poly, bro. Kick them down.
They're fat and dumb,
bro. Like,
oh man.
Like
they really are big kids though.
Like, bro, we beat Alex when we went to boys' night out last night. That shit was wild.
Y'all went to where?
We went boys' night out last night. That shit was wild.
We have boys' night out once a month now. So yesterday we went out.
That jank was wild, bro.
Yo,
like,
what happened?
I tell Alex every time, bro, when I left 3 years ago, women were a lot thinner.
Well, now it's 4 or 5 now.
4 or 5 years ago, women and men were a lot thinner and everything like that.
I was a lot thinner.
Yeah, everybody blew up like a brick house, bro. I'm like, what happened? And I was like,
Yo, COVID.
COVID.
Mass depression.
COVID.
COVID.
Being stagnant.
COVID didn't affect y'all hard.
It affected me hard. What you mean?
That's a whole lot.
I wasn't
my nigga.
at the weight that I am now. I was not at that weight pre-COVID. I promise you.
COVID did affect a lot of people. It did, but like from my point of view, from what me looking from the outside in to what the States was going on, I was like, man, I wish I could go outside, bro. I wish I could go outside. We was on 22-hour lockdown, bro.
Yeah.
Walk for 2 hours.
Y'all had it worse yet, but we still got fatter anyway.
Yeah, I don't know how y'all managed it, bro.
People decided to just eat whatever was around them. Just, bro, and started stockpiling toilet paper and not the appropriate cleaning materials. Which, if we taught in chemistry what cleans and what, maybe people would buy the appropriate thing. So so we got 4 years.
And if y'all taught things in science, kids wouldn't be eating fucking pods.
No, I don't think. No. I don't think that got anything to do with them learning science. That's just you got the wrong motherfuckers on TikTok doing the dumbest shit, and these kids are absorbing that. So no, I wouldn't say put that on science. I'll put that on just parents giving them children common sense. 4 years of common sense. No, matter of fact, no. 8 years of common sense. No. Scratch that.
All your life.
A whole life of common sense.
What's the next one? Economics and...
Yeah. So we have 4 years, it seems, for health and physical. Everyone seems to be unanimous on that. World languages, fine arts, technical education. How many? Right now, currently, 2 years are needed. You would give 4 years?
4 years, and you didn't ask these kids what they want to learn for that 4 years.
So you add
Do
that.
not let these kids switch, bro. Because that's the one thing. Like, well, not don't let the kids switch.
What?
That's the thing. Like, I learned art in middle school.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed art. And then they put me in fucking typing. I'm like, I said I like art.
He said I like art.
I'm like, what's going on? Like that's all we like.
But I bet you could type your ass off though, huh?
Oh, I can type off, bro.
Oh my god.
You can type your ass off, no problem.
How did you get it?
But like these kids, they need to learn like, and that's the category that we're talking about. Like, that's the one we're talking about. Like, these kids need to choose. Like, okay, what do you want to do? Sit down, like, have their first year go through like a whole thing of different exploratory. Call it the exploratory year. Spend that Jane, boom, 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 and be like, you know what? I really like carpeting. I bet you're a carpenter. Boom. You're carpeting the rest of your life, dog.
No. I can't rock with that. I was with you till you said carpenter for life.
I was like, no, but like you're in carpeting until like, because carpeting, honestly, you can spend 2 years in carpeting and be actually fairly well. Spend the first year about learning about like what the different type of woods and stuff like that, and then put most of the year into like using the saw and how to properly like take care of that stuff. Because we had carpeting in our school, and I enjoyed the fuck out of carpeting. Like, I learned a lot about that.
They built an entire house in Meadowbrook. They built the entire house on the actual high school campus, and it's still there. It's still there, and I was like,
"Somebody living in it?"
Yeah.
He said somebody living in it.
That's that house like that.
Yeah, on the left. They built the school. Built that. I was like, can you imagine school programs building houses?
But like that's what I'm saying. That stuff is important. This other
really
stuff,
dope.
like this other stuff is, and it's back to the history thing. Like, I understand about history, but bro, that's history.
Yeah, that trumps so much.
That's history right there, all of it. They built a whole house. They preserved Pomeranian house.
Yeah.
Now these kids know how to build a house. Trumps it, bro.
Yeah. Knowing how to build a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at that point, I'd be like, F history, bro. I want that kid. Like, give me that. Give me that. Like,
Yeah. So yeah, I think that could be 4 years for sure. I think we can.
I would say 8. I would say that sounds like
high
such
school.
a huge
High school's
skill.
only 4
Like,
years.
No. What I mean is twice a year. So like you can take 2 of those classes every year because that sounds like a.
Oh well, for
Yeah,
us,
that's what
the
I
thing
mean,
is, your classes are year round. Not year round, just you take it from start to end.
yeah.
Is how the classes are set up.
No, but you would take 2 every year. So instead of taking 1, right? So you only have 1 shop class, right? You could have a shop class and a type class every year.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, so you're talking like
you're saying instead of taking 1 course for each 1 year, make it 2 courses for each year. So make it 8.
Yeah, it don't need to be a full year for like.
I mean, you can split it up however you want with it. I think that's still a good idea though.
But yeah, that needs to be 4.
Yeah, it needs to be a bigger priority. Because I remember in high school, by the time I got to junior, senior year, they were like, well, what college are you going to? And I was like, what? You got to apply to colleges? I'm like, but why?
What skills do I have?
Like, I had no idea. And then it started costing to apply for. I'm not getting into it. Let's move on. So the next one here, we have economics and personal finance.
4.
The whole entire
4.
teenage existence should be
Your
dedicated
whole life
to personal finance.
No, your whole entire life should be dedicated to.
Yeah,
personal
but yeah, definitely. I think it
Like,
begins when you become a teenager.
Because kids be spending, because they carry the bad habits they had as a kid over to adulthood, and that's when it hurts the most.
Mm-hmm.
Is when because
you pay for mistakes in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s. It's so sad. It's so sad.
It's like, stop spending money, bro. Like, you don't
But
need.
I can't help it.
Like, yes, you can, bitch. But but like, you don't need a lot of things. People have to say, "Oh, I need this." No, you don't. Stop lying to yourself. I'm about to punch you. Stop.
It's bad. So yeah, I think 4 years fine there. All right, then we got electives.
What's
Right now,
determined as an elective?
So electives are determined.
We put in there are electives.
Yeah, a lot of the things that we put in. So things like, let's say, like
carpeting,
theater, shop, art.
Depending on the elective, depends on how many years you should do it.
Yeah, generally it's the more stress relief classes. Generally speaking, opera could be one, band is one. It generally is more so centered around the arts.
I would say 4. Just like, have a class to just, enjoy, I guess.
Yeah. Like anime appreciation, things like that could be like electives.
What?
If they created it, sure.
What was it?
Like anime appreciation.
Oh, okay.
What do you think I said?
I thought you said animated appreciation. I was like, what?
Oh. Or it could be something as simple as like social cues or social settings or like things like that.
I think they should have an elective or even a class on communication.
Communications, I think it was
because
in high school it's not.
Trying to talk to people nowadays, these people cannot have a conversation and say
navigating the online world.
They're mentally ill, Kenny, but there's also the fact that they are terrible at communications. But a lot of times, the people I think you're referring to, they're just mentally ill, man.
Mental illness. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that should be 4 because I think it's important still for people to have something that they definitely love to do or like to do in that elective. Whether you want to be an artist, maybe, or whether you want to go into the arts, do opera, do any type of singing, do any type of band work, do any type of orchestra, like that's still important to the human at its core.
Yeah.
So basically, to summarize,
there
are other things. Why are you showing that?
Because he made it. I'm missing.
Oh, that's art.
Art.
Oh, he learned that as an elective in high school.
Bro, he didn't make that. If he could make those, I'd be like, quit your job, bro. All these out here, I will buy you all the material you need to make 5,000 of these. We're going to an anime convention. Sell these,
and we slanging them.
Yeah, we are.
I'm gonna have them in a little. I'm be like, hey, you want this? Have it in a little bag. I'm like, why's it in the bag? Shh.
But as far as to summarize all this, the Black history is American history, but the Black history aspect of American history should be taught in more detail, but overall, the hierarchy and the importance of the subject is not as important as other things because you can't apply American Black history to your life. It don't, as Kenny said, it don't pay the bills.
That's literally all that matters. Unfortunately,
It don't pay the bills. So
we could help to change for a better society with that, though.
Yeah,
but in the current, I mean, yeah, like, that's not.
Yeah, as of right now, it's not like something that help us. It can help us move forward, but not in the way that would.
No. See that's how I see exactly. You thought of it too. You're like,
no. It wasn't even that. It was Kenny. He was making his chest jump, and it distracted me, and I ain't like that. So,
Kenny gonna be that granddad that always slaps the mess, but it's gonna be out of Yoni, not his own. It's gonna be heavy because he's gonna be a big granddad. He gonna think he's trying to start a fight with you, but he laughing. And he also big, so you don't want to throw the first hit.
Yeah, you'll wait for him to move first. But yeah, so American Black history is important, but it's not as important as far as living your life as a functioning adult in society. Did I get that right?
Yep.
I agree with that.
But they should. But we do agree that they should teach it appropriately and don't skim over it.
all history should be taught appropriately.
Yeah.
I mean, every topic should be taught appropriately. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but yeah.
Like every human being should know how to cook. You
I
know.
think people should just learn.
Yeah, I don't know why that became the segregated topic point of like men v women, of like women are in the house cooking. I'm like, every human eats.
Everyone
Bro, any time I see a human being who is proud that they cannot cook, man or woman, I look down on it.
Yeah.
I'm just like you're incompetent. Like are you saying like if I give you groceries right now, you're gonna look me dead at me?
The moment it touches his hands, it catch fire.
It's a tomato, bro. It's a tomato. It's a tomato, dog. That's what it is. Cut it. Put it in a pot. Put it on simmer.
It's like, are you saying that you cannot turn on a stove?
Yo, people don't even know how to boil water, and all you're doing is putting water in a pot and then putting that
and waiting.
And waiting.
That's the part they messed up at, man. They ain't got patience.
But okay. So I'm gonna expose myself for a quick second, right?
Oh shit.
So I know how to boil water, but I don't.
If you ain't know how to boil water, I look at you.
I don't know.
Some hard ass noodles, my guy.
So I know how to. So I know how to boil water, right? But the only eggs I've ever eaten in life was scrambled. So I did not know how to boil eggs.
No, that's fine. Like
that's fine. You don't need to know.
Eggs is a weird thing.
So what I did was first I asked my partner, and she kind of, it was frowned upon, right? She kind of played on me, but that's okay. But then I YouTubed it, and that's the power of 2020. Well, this information age.
The information age, smartphones, the most powerful device ever at our fingertips.
Yeah, but everybody uses it for fucking social media, taking pictures and doing TikTok and shit.
Yeah.
Don't forget porn.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Much more for porn.
Wow.
And also avoiding your daily responsibilities.
Oh yeah, no, just like fucking shit. I almost said gas chamber. I'm in echo chamber.
Hey, carry on, Dante, about you buying those hard ass spaghetti noodles.
No. So okay, I didn't know how to boil eggs, but I took it upon myself to Google it, YouTube it, and now I know more or less. I mean, it's not a perfected skill quite yet, but I know the basics, right? So as far as I'm saying that to say, as far as today's youth or just anybody in general, if you want to learn. I mean, even though it may not have been taught, and when you was in high school and college accurately, you have the information at your fingertips to learn the accurate information. I mean, you can even, like I said in the beginning, you can even go on TikTok, fact check them, please, for the love of God, fact check anything on social media.
Please do, dear Lord.
But it's there. There's no, if you want to know, there's no excuse for you not to know. Ignorance isn't always bliss.
Ignorance is never bliss.
But it is a choice.
Yeah. So, anything else that anybody would like to add before we
learn how to cook?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, please do.
Read and comprehend. Okay, so what are the basic needs to function in society? Cook, reading comprehension,
Hygiene.
Well, I mean, you can still. I mean, I'm not saying don't shower, but but you can still go.
That they need to,
hygiene is because
hygiene
that
is-
does breed sickness and illness within peoples and populations. So hygiene, it is in there.
So, all right, Jacque, look at me like I'm disgusting the shit, but
This
I mean,
is about to be
I had
massive.
questions.
You don't know how big this list is about to be, Dante.
no, we're gonna do the top five. No, top five. So
No, it's at least 10. I promise you.
no,
it's at least 10.
we cutting it at five.
We're at 5. You take your
I'm
top
gonna
10.
have some
Brad,
broken
which one
people.
is important? We're gonna put it in 5.
So Kenny said cooking, I said reading, comprehension. Jacque said hygiene. Alex,
Fucking finances.
yeah, Alex, you're perfect for that. Personal finances. That's perfect for Alex. Perfect.
Yeah.
Fifth one, I don't know.
I'd say fifth one should be accountability.
Bro, it takes
Yeah.
accountability, bro. That's the number one thing, bro.
Actually, put that on
Like-
top.
Put that on top. Like, nobody takes accountability for nothing.
Well-
Bitch, you fucked up. Call today. That's it.
We will let the viewers like dictate what the hierarchy is, what the ranking is, in your own time in the comment section. If you're doing it in the chat room, we probably ain't gonna see it because this is about to end very shortly. So,
Oh my god.
but yeah, so this is. Did y'all know, by the way, that this episode was an hour and a half long?
Oh, I noticed.
The whole time. It's a long topic. It's a long topic, and it's a very stretched out.
This is why I tell you all the time, Dante. You're like, what do you think about the topic? I'm like, I really don't care about it, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, you're gonna
because-
talk. Yeah, we had that like
yeah.
a couple of weeks ago. You were like, we're gonna talk about it. I just don't.
Yeah, like we don't talk about it. Yeah, like that has no bearing on if I think we should or shouldn't do it. When you ask me the question, hey, what you think about it? I don't like it, but we gonna talk about it.
And that's all I asked for, you to talk about it.
Yeah, it's like that. Like, oh man, he's a simple boss.
Like, no, that's the whole purpose of this, is to talk about it. So as long as you're here to talk about it,
Man.
I'm not saying live your life by this creed. I'm not like that, but like just talk. But
I enjoy it.
But yeah, I would like to.
enjoyed that. I had the idea earlier, to look up what our curriculum was and kind of base off of that.
Yeah. But I would like to thank the viewers, the 5 viewers who tuned in. I'm one of them technically.
Hey, I'm one of them too.
That
I'm one of
boy,
them,
see,
too.
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to hear.
It's us talking to us about us.
In one viewer.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I'm talking about. You got Princess Nubia. Thank you for listening and
I work
cooperating
with viewer.
in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I just gave her a shout out, and she said, "Don't forget about me."
Just don't forget exactly.
It's the delayed Dante. We'll get there.
But yeah, thank you for tuning in for this the longest episode podcast that we've ever done.
Are you happy or proud about that?
Yeah, because it wasn't like it wasn't like we're jaded on the topic. Like I feel like that could have gone longer. But
Oh yeah, we could have made your top 10 list.
I'm hungry, bro. You look, listen, bro. I love you, dog. Love you to death. We need to end this shit ASAP. ASAP rock.
that's what I just said.
He trying to end it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, bro. You being Kenny disrespectful. I'm gonna boot him.
I sure am. That's fine. Do what
Anyway,
you want.
we'll make sure you catch us next time on the Blerd Talk Podcast. Bye.